Welcome to Trading Lounge and the global indices, and as you may know, we've got triple witching occurring in the next session, which creates volatility for being bearish or bullish, and we're probably seeing a little bit of that now. So there's two things in the markets that I see. We're going to have a bit of a look around today, do something a little bit different, but we'll still look at all our normal things. So there's stocks like Apple that have come down off their highs, and as you know the China story for that, and they're just sort of bouncing around their lows here. So that's Apple, Netflix and Nvidia out of the ones that we cover. The other ones that we're covering are basically pushing up, and I've got 5 waves in here, and this 5-wave structure here, in some of them like Tesla, it's got 5 waves here, and then it's just in its sort of later stages here. There's other ones that are further down here. There's other ones that are just over here, like Amazon still needs a 3 and a 4 and a 5. So obviously the indices are a bit of a moving average of this situation coming down and this situation going up, and eventually one of them will dominate the situation. With the SP500 and the NASDAQ, starting with the S&P of course, is that my thing is that I know that we're in a wave. We've got this nice long wave 3 here, so I know that we've always been in a wave 4. My question for myself was, do we put wave 4 over here, or do we put wave 4 over here? That was the thing that I've been trying to sort of figure out. Now, yesterday and a few other, and before that, we noticed things in the market that were becoming a little bit bullish, like we would see Meta stock finding support on a large number. We could see that Tesla was getting 5 waves to the upside. So all these sort of stocks started to creep in a positive light. So then we could see that the NASDAQ was quite strong, and stronger than the S&P. So for the S&P, I basically looked at it as that, okay, well, look, we could put wave 4 here, or we could put wave 4 over here. If it was going to be over here, then this top would need to stay in play, because we've got this nice A, B, C pattern here, and it's come up. This is this little thing here is it's 50. It was 61.8, 62%. Okay, so it doesn't need to go any higher as a B wave. You know, that's it. It's got a nice A, B, C there. So if it took out the top there, then we would straight away need to put wave 4 over here, which we've been talking about that with the NASDAQ. So that's pretty much it in a simple way. In another way, if that was the case, we need to look at being long on the 4,500. That was the other thing. And if we're going to go long on 4,500, we would need a classic trading levels pattern. This is my sort of favorite setup here, where we have the arrival at the level, the 4,500, the reaction, the first high above the level, and this journey in this first high above the level is 5 waves. So we need to count those 5 waves in this little leg here. That's what we need to do, and we're about 2/3 of the way through that. So we would need the market to top out, fold over. We've got the triple witching. It's going to create some volatility, probably create a mess, and I probably won't be able to figure this out, but hopefully we will. But one way or another, we'll be left with that high, and we can go long above that high, not into this high, but once the market, we don't know where the high is until it drops back. We'll say, oh, that's the high, and then we have the second high and the third high, and we can rinse and repeat. This will also be a classic trading levels pattern. A smaller fractal of this bigger pattern in here will be bundled up in here, and we'll be trying to build over here, and then through group 1 of that 4,500, so 10, 20, 30 and so on. So that's what that's what I'd be looking for over here. So yesterday I was talking about this as being a wave 1 here and a wave 2 here, but I just don't think that's the case, because the wave 2 now is too big for this particular first move down here. It's too big, and it'll take another session as well. It's possible, but you know, and even plausible, but I don't think it's the case. So Then some folks have mentioned a triangle pattern in this particular space here, so we could have some sort of triangle pattern coming into this space, and yeah, that's a fair call as well. Everything's there. We can look at that in 3 waves and 3 waves here and so on. So in that case, if we can just go to the 20k tick chart just to get a bit more detail on that now that we've sort of talked about it a little bit. So first of all, yesterday, just to follow on and just, because I have to move with the markets, that's the market's the boss, and I have to do what I'm told if I got my ears open and I'm listening, and I'm thinking this wave 2 that we're looking at is going to be too big for this particular move here. So then the triangle pattern that different folks have mentioned, that means that, well, if that was the case, then if I just remove this for a moment, I'll just put this over here because we'll use that over here in a moment. That means that, I'll just move that. I didn't mean to move it so far away, but so that means that if we were going to have a triangle, this wave B would need to come over to here, and this would become the A wave at this point, and the B wave would be here. Now, I don't particularly like this particular move either, because the B wave doesn't really have a relationship with the A wave here. It's a little bit simple. I mean, if this was complex, then I could look at this being simple, but as an ABC pattern, it's pretty simple, but it's doable. So that means that this move here, we would need to look at this in a particular way of wave 1 here and 2 here, and then this 5 wave move that I'm looking for up here would be wave 3 and wave 4 and then wave 5 up here. I mean, we've got a bit of time because we want to get past the triple witching anyway, so let's just assume for a moment that we get 5 waves up here for this. And this starts to put us in track with, Tesla's and Microsoft and that. So this, we'll have a look at a couple of those in a minute. But so anyway, this would be the other pattern, the A, the B, and the C for the triangle at that point. So we could, probably just sort of highlight some particular line through here like that for that, and look at it like that. So do I think it's a triangle? Look, anything is possible, but all I know, I need to put I can be an analyst, and I can look at things and contemplate until the cows come home or my navel drops off or whatever. But basically, I need to be long at that point. That's all I know. So after these 5 waves here, then we can be long at that point. That would get rid of the B wave. That might leave us even a little bit too late for this as well. Because I want to explain this little pattern here for a moment. This little move up here and back here and then up here and down, that 3-wave move here, we can see that in different ways throughout the market. So as an example here, here's Microsoft. So this move up here is I've got as wave 1 and 2 here, and then this move up here, that's the same as this move here, that 1 and 2. So the NASDAQ has proven a little bit stronger here. We could probably get away with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for the NASDAQ. And that would sort of play in quite nicely, because when we look at Microsoft here as 1, 2, 3, 4, and finishing up here, looking for 5. Now I've got wave 5 up here. It could finish down here on this particular leg as well. We're not interested in this. We want to wait for the ABC pattern over here. And that's the same with Tesla as well. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The same thing again, the ABC. So we want to be over here. We don't want to be buying at the top here. That's kind of the gist of the thing. The other one that's running really quite strong, just to give you an idea, is Amazon here, where that's the 1, 2 again here as well, and this is going up for a 3rd wave here. So this is actually leading to the upside. Doing a typical 3rd wave of breaking the trend channel here, and 1, 2, and 3 up here. So it's fanging it to the upside. So some of these markets have have pulled back here, while some have gone up further. But this is the leading trend. This is the one that we should be keeping a bit of an eye on. And there's others. This is Tesla here, we need to wait for that to come back. And this is, Microsoft with 1 and 2, and it hasn't really pulled back here. So when we look at this, the S&P here, it pulled back here a little bit, but the other ones have just kept going. But it seems to be wanting to catch up now. And if we get support on that level, then we need to be long at that point in time. Now, so do we have a long trade? I expect the market to move higher. Right, that's one thing. We can have a look at that on maybe 100 ticks and just drill into that little area just here. But the point being, this is just on the S&P. This is looking at it in a bit more of a bullish light here. So I expect it to come up here higher, but I think it will struggle a little bit up here. And all I'm waiting for is for it to to top out here. I'm not going to call a trade in here. I want this one. I want this ABC pattern over here, like I want with Microsoft over here and Tesla and all of those guys. There'll be nothing to trade, and then there'll be everything to trade. But I thought we'd have a bit of a look around. This is we'll just have a look at the sectors for a moment, some of them anyway. This got the finance sector up here and the thing. So basically, like the S&P, we've been looking for wave 4 here. Now, I can look at this as going up for wave 5 here, and it could be wave 1 and 2 back at this point, or it could be wave C of B and have another top there, because all this could be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave over here for this, and then crash. But in the meantime, this move here is corrective, and we could look at it as an ABC like the other ones and pull back down again, but this would be the pathway for it for further highs up here. This is the industrial sector, so the Dow Jones, we've been looking at this as 1 and 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then an ABC pattern here. So I reckon we're pretty much sort of on the low here for this one here as well. Don't have a great setup in here, but you can kind of see that it is ready. It's come back and tested and so on. So that's the industrials on that side. I'm just going to run through these quickly. This is the healthcare here in a larger triangle pattern here. But you can see here at the 130, which is the top of minor group 1, it is solidly supported here. So there's only one wave. All of this here is overlapping wave structures, so that means that it's a bullish pattern, and it's got further to move up. So just looking at the bullish side of things, this is the communication sector here. So this is full of Apple and the Alphabet and Meta here. So also a wave 4 here. I mean, I've got it counted up as bullish and bearish, but 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, the fourth, and so it's going to go higher here as well. It's at the 50-60%, but it's sort of done its it's taken the wind out of its sails. It's gathered its thing together, and it's starting to make a move to the upside. So we're going to be sort of up here for this move. I mean, the length of wave 1 here was quite long, so we may see a decent move there up into the 72 or something. But I'm showing you these because there's bullish pattern. This is the consumer pattern, the other guys here, Tesla and Amazon and so on. So once again, here we look at this as 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 5 up here for third, fourth and fifth to go up further. I could get an ABC out of it as well. I mean, I've got to look at both sides. If I'm going to go long, I want to know what the short side is. But I'm just saying here that this is, even if you don't know Elliott, you can see that we got 5 waves up into into this space here. So we haven't even really made a high here. So this once again will just be a 1 and 2 coming into play here, and then pushing up again at that point. So I'm pointing out that we're in a bullish mode here. This is the metals and mining thing. This could be counted a couple of different ways, but once again, this pattern across here, whichever way you want to sort of bake this cake, it's corrective, and we've been waiting for the turn on this now, but it looks like it sort of popped. So that's there. Come over to the energy sector here as well. This is the same as crude oil. We're counting 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we're waiting for a top to come into play and then the pullback, this is a classic trading levels pattern where we've got the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC pattern, and this is where we build in over here. This is what we'll be doing, so we won't chase that to the upside. So just to give you a bit of an idea, the markets are reasonably bullish out there, and then we come to the NASDAQ here, which we've been putting this into a corrective pattern as wave 4 anyway. So once again, we could view all of this as a triangle pattern sort of occurring here, but just after looking at some of those sectors, we still need to, where it wants to push higher. The other point too, a bit of a turning point here, is that this is the US dollar here. So another reason we could go up is that I've got the US dollar here as down for 1 here, and then an ABC for wave 2 here. I don't particularly want to put it as wave 2 here, and when I look at the volume on this move down here, it's telling me that this is a corrective pattern. So I don't think this is wave 1 over here so much. The volume's not telling me that. It would if it was going to be something like that, it'd be a wave A over here, but the volume is telling me that we're getting decreasing volume in this move, so it's telling me that it's corrective. So as far as I can see, the milkshake theory is probably right in this case. This particular move up through here, I mean, this could be an A wave here, and a B wave here. But the thing is that if I look at this as an A and a B wave here, which is fine, and then this here is as wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could also look at this as wave C here, by the way. I'm just saying it's possible, because if this turns to the downside here, and there's a good case for that just being in here, because it's got some relationship between wave A and B in terms of time and size and those sort of things, so it makes a little bit of sense. But we'll see if that, but there will be some sort of turn at that point, and the inverse of this will be, this is gold here, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here for gold, so we're going to see gold rally here, but this is where we've got to be careful, because we may see gold just push straight up from here, further up. So anyway, I'm just saying that there's, there could be space for these market, and the yields will be pulling back too, the same with the dollar when that happens as well. Anyway, coming back to these, so if this is going to run to the upside here in another trend, then yeah, so here we've got 5,000, 15,500. So realistically, we could see that the market couldn't find support on the 500, and it couldn't find it over here, but it seems to want to have another crack at it over here, doesn't it? So that's what we've got to kind of look at. So to me, I kind of need, I need sort of support on things. So coming back to Microsoft here as an example of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, and then an ABC. I've probably drawn this too big. This is what we need for the NASDAQ as well, by the way. So I can suggest that we're going to go higher, but then we're going to have this ABC pattern. So this is what this is here. We're going to go higher, but then we're going to have this ABC pattern. And, with Microsoft and that, it's easy to look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4 here and going up for 5. And there's many other stocks like that. But that means that we would translate this here to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here, and then the ABC pattern here, So I know that it's overlapping here, you don't need to tell me that, I know that, but the stocks, that's what the stocks are telling me, and it is the stocks that are creating this market, and they're the boss of the indices, So yeah, so just anyway, that's just my 2 cents on all of that. So let's just go in here and take a closer look at this here. So yeah, so when I look at all those other markets, Microsoft and Amazon and Tesla and there's a handful of others, I would be putting this wave 3 over here for that. So 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Could possibly put wave 4 over here, by the way. We talked about that this morning or yesterday. And then looking for 5 waves up here. But I'm putting it here, looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here and having a top here. But I could go from this point, so I could have wave 3 here and then wave 4 to here as an ABC, or I could put wave 4 over here and have a shorter move. So either wave 3 is going to be the top or this is going to be the top. But the thing is we just need this to finish off here, and then it'll make a new high probably, and then we'll have the ABC pattern, and then we'll push up again at that point. So it's over here that we really want to capture the trend, the next trend to the upside. That's my thinking. It could be 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2, but we'd expect to see this really quite strong here, and that may be the case. case, but want to move past that triple witching situation as well. All the derivatives rolling over. It's always a shit fight. So yeah, that's it in a bit of a nutshell. So I'm not going to call the trade in here, but I can sort of tell you that it's pointing upwards. We need to go up. It's all about the 500 here. Any move to the upside, we'll see it come back and check it. As I say, markets have got a habit of making a new high over another high and then coming back into the previous high to check what's real and what's not, you know. So this is hitting supply here, taking a chunk of it out, so giving it some breathing space to push higher and take the rest of it out, but it'll need to rest after that and pull back. So that will be that. And then we come over to the Russell. So with the Russell here, it's possible to look at this down here as, you know, and the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave at this point. So a little bit sort of messy in here. So we're looking at taking money off the table there. So I've taken those trades out. But basically, that could be a low here. And we could just continue to go straight up, build up here. But I don't want to do it without confirming the NASDAQ and the S&P, because otherwise we could end up with a situation of some sort of ABC pattern over here struggling and then coming down here, you know. So I've got to be careful about that. So I need to build a case over here for that. The ETF's a little bit clearer here. We've been counting that down as the A, the B, and 1 and 2 in here, and yada 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 for 3, 4, and 5 here. So we can put that in here now, and we'll just watch this here for a little bit. You know, we won't get the best price, and yes, it will push up. You can go long from here if you wanted to. It's sitting on the 85 here as support, so you could buy new highs here. I'm not going to call that in, but that would be the go. I need to confirm where the markets are going to be going, you know. So that will be that. So maybe, you know, if it moves quickly, we may be able to get 3, 4, 5 here, and then some ABC back here, in line with, you know, the main theme of the market, you know. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm just going to wait on that. I want to be clear. I want to be safe. So we're just going to wait for that. Okay, so let's just move along a little bit, and we're over to the DAX here, and I don't have all the answers here. I know once again we're looking for wave 3 and 4 here. I know that we've got 3 waves here, so I know that all of this is bullish corrective. I know at some point in the future we're going to be up here somewhere, right? I just don't know. I'm just not quite clear on this particular correction here. I could put, you know, I've had this as an A wave, a B wave, and looking for a C wave here, but it hasn't given me the best looking C wave here. It counts better as an ABC pattern. So then I thought, well, let's just bring the Joker out of the pack and look at this as the W here, the X here, and the Y here for wave 4, but it hasn't made a new low here either. So that's an issue. So this also makes a good case for a triangle pattern to be continuing here as well. So if that was the case, this would be the A wave here, and then a small A, a small B, and a small C up here for this B wave here. So we'd have a B wave up here, and then we'd have a C wave here, and then we would have a D wave here and an E wave here. So like more sideways pattern across the 16,000 here for that. So I'm thinking that we'll just count it up as 5 waves in line with, you know, I mean, this market pretty much follows the you know, the S&P and so on. So we can pretty much view it the same. So we'll just look at this. That's just trying to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll be pretty close to a top here for this. So we'll be looking at wave 3, 4, and then 5 up here, be something like this. Now, I'm putting it as wave 1 here because it could also be bullish at that point with that wave 4 being in place, as I mentioned. And it can also be wave C here of B here. But it doesn't really matter at this point because it's a bit, I'm thinking it's going to be like this. I can just use Microsoft chart because it's just next to me. Once this tops out here, like the DAX, then we'll have this ABC pattern again. And if I have got 5 waves here for Microsoft, right, because this has been coming down here, if I get 5 waves up here, and confirm it with, and we got that with Tesla as well, 1 2 3 4 5, a bit clearer, then we know that it's pretty much bullish. So that means that this 1 and 2 here would be a more dominant situation here for this, so we still need to wait for the ABC pattern here. But then if we get the first little impulse wave here, we can look to build in through here and so on, wherever that may be at that point in time, So I think that's where the trade is for this. Now, are we going to go into another AB, to a larger sort of pattern here? I mean, anything's possible in this. We know Europe's got its own issues in the financial system. So so anything's possible. But anyway, I'll just wait to find this move here. So then we come over to the English market, and we definitely got to call the triangle in here now, and it's complete and it's looking quite bullish. So just coming back here a little bit, I'm on 20,000 ticks, but so we could view this as 1 and 2 here, 1 2 3 4, and then up here for wave 5 of 3 up here. Okay, and then look at this as an A, B, C, D, and E here for that, and then we're in a bullish run here. So in this case, it's quite clear that we got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then going up for 3 and 4 here, and going up for wave 5 here for wave 3. We'll probably end up I might need to lift this up a degree of structure, but normally we should be up around 8,300 at minimum for this leg. So basically you can see that we've got wave 1, 2 here, and you can see this is wave 3 here coming in. So you're going to see wave 4 play out pretty much around this old high over here, but look for that to be support over here. So you'll be in group 2, and then you can trade up from that point. So yeah, that looks about the best picture. The only other thing I can think of is an ABC for the A wave here, an A and a B and a C wave up here for a larger B wave, and then down at that point. But I'm seeing this particular pattern, the Australian markets have got this as well in our finance sector and our material sector actually. It does make it corrective, so we should be making a new high. So when we look at the Australian market, we've had the same sort of thing as the FTSE has got, but a bit bigger and a bit longer. It's been going for a long time. I mean, some of our banks have been going back since 2008, with a big triangle pattern as well. So it's a kind of a bit of a theme that's running in our markets, and the old 7,200 here is the sort of balance line through all this. I've been struggling with this here a little bit. So there's a couple of ways that we could, I've been looking at it in terms of triangle patterns. So an A wave down here, an ABC for the B wave up here, and then some sort of ABC in here for a C wave, and then a D wave and an E wave, thinking it would actually come down here further. And it could do that. But I wanted to have a little look at the bullish side of things today, not because this has moved up here, that's kind of part of it, but we'll take a closer look at that in a moment, but also for the thing of that the US markets are coming out of their wave 4 and making their next move higher. So when I look at, just bear with me a second, I'll just get the ASX, and we'll have a look at the banking sector. And we have looked at this before I just want to have a look at a few of these. So this is the cash market here. So it's a little bit easier to read in its own little way, you know. So yeah, this is the pattern, and this is we're going to look at the banking sector now. Okay, so this is the banking sector, and we looked at this last week where, you know, how would you feel about this? I mentioned to you as looking at this as 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 here for 1 and ABC for 2 here, and then this one up here for 1 and back for 2 here at this point. So this is actually sort of coming to life a little bit here. And the XMJ here, we looked at this in 2 ways, but this is the other way to look at it. With we can look at it as wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 over here, and this is something that the BHPs of the world are doing as well here. So it does make, you can make a triangle in both ways out of it, but because it came from this direction, this is the best way to view it. So an A wave, an A, B, C, D and E over here for this. So I think that we could take the current move up in the US markets, and we know that just on the material side of things for a moment, this is the energy sector here. So we've got this bullish move happening here, which is not really reflecting in Australia, only in probably Woodside. We're getting this sort of pattern, but you know, that's one part of it. And then the other sector here, the XME here, this, you know, as I've mentioned before, this particular pattern here is corrective, and it's sort of, you know, working in its own little triangle sort of pattern here, but we've got a nice clean break from this now. So, you know, we could probably look at some of the stocks now as well in all of this. So I think that we need to I'll have a look over the weekend, and we'll have a look at some of the stocks, and I'll do the commodities video today, and I'll just double check on iron ore and copper and so on. But we are seeing uranium sort of move up. Lithium's not there just yet. But I think it's time to prepare now, basically, you know. And I think that what could happen is we may get the finance sector coming back here. What about the XFJ? That's the same as well. Yeah, we've looked at this before too. So yeah, I think it's sort of the balance is shifting to the upside. We don't quite have it yet. That would mean that when I talk about the balance in things, there's different degrees of things. But if I just go, say that line through here, I've just really taken that low here and that high here, but it did line up with these. I didn't really notice that until it happened. So what we could say is that line there is reasonably significant, isn't it? You know, so that means that we know things can fail. We know things that can, you know, we know things could move up here and make it like this one here, make a new high and drop from that point, you know, and drop back down at that point. So I kind of know that. So, but we've got our little classic trading levels pattern. So all we need to do is wait for that to move up, and then look for it to, you know, look for the classic trading levels pattern here. So we could call that the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level. So we'll be looking at the 6-4 on this case, but in other markets as well. We've got that, and we're in here at the moment. We're about here, so we need that, and then we need that. Okay, so and then we can look to get over here. So we've got a little bit of time with all of this. Now there will be some markets that will pop and so on, but some of them will be a bit slower to get off the ground and all the rest of it. But I do think we should start looking at the finance sector, at banks, and the XMJ coming in here as well here, lifting off the low here. Now, obviously, you know, we haven't had today's move yet, but we should see that that move up, and especially if the dollar's going to drop back as well, as I mentioned with the US dollar. It hasn't dropped back yet, but I expect it to drop back. So with this here, let me just go in and we'll just go through different counts here. So this is still a bit of a triangle sort of count here. I could put wave 2 here from wave 1 because 20k was our thing here. I could put this here. I could put it over there. I don't know. I just don't. Nothing really sort of makes a lot of sense here. But this strong move up here has certainly moved things along a little bit. So this is the more bearish one here. So this could pull back. We'll just look at this for a moment too, is that this move down here, there's a good case for 5 waves down here, and we're at the 61.8% already. So what we could say here now is that, you know, because I got 5 waves here, we could say this is an A and a B and a C coming up to here, and you know, it's probably not wave 1 and 2, it's more like another A-B wave up here, you know. But we know that that's going to have problems up here as well. So this is what this is where it sort of shows up on these markets. So if we can get some sort of first high above the level over here, and it would be nice if it took the top out there, that would be sort of handy. It doesn't really make any difference being in the triangle pattern sort of thing, but what we do need is we do need this situation here and then up at that point. That's the main trade, I think, and that, I mean, I don't want to bore you to death, but this is the same, you know, with what we're looking for with Microsoft, and it's pretty much, you know, when I talk about Microsoft, we could be talking about the NASDAQ and the S&P, you know, I mean, it's just the DNA of it, so to speak, you know. So this would be the same thing over here as well, and we may even experience this as wave 1 and 2 here, and 3, 4, 5 up here, so a larger move to the upside. So in terms of trading over Friday, yes, you can go long, but it's not going to be a trend trade, so you'll just have to take, you know, what crumbs you can off the table, so to speak. So we could view this here as an A and a B and C wave over here. That's possible. We can also look at this here. We'll just label it here so we can come back to it a little bit later as wave 3 here, and then look for you know, wave 4 here and wave 5. That would be even sort of nicer at that point. It doesn't, just because we get 5 waves here, it doesn't mean anything, you know, at this point. Not because we're in this particular pattern here. A 5-wave structure and a 3-wave structure don't mean anything. If it got support on this number 3 here, then I'd be really interested in it. You know, if we got that, you know, we got that sort of pattern up the top there that we can work with, that would be very interesting at that point. But do we have that? Well, I think we get it. I really don't know. We just got to kind of see what we get, you know, at this point. So on the 5K here, so I've had different counts. Here, this is another count here in this triangle pattern, still playing out here as the A, the B, the C, the D, and the E here. It's also possible as well. So, I mean, it's a bit messy, but the CFD is going to be messier because it's, you know, it's got the overnight market in it and so on. So I don't think we should really get our count from here. We should really get it from the stocks, I think. So anyway, I'll just see what I've got on here. So this move up here, this is just 1,000 ticks. So we could look at this as an A wave here. We could look at it as wave 1. The 5th wave in here is a little bit short, but just bear with us on that. And then some sort of A wave here, B wave here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for either a B wave or wave 2. I mean, I like it as a B wave because it's really quite a big correction, isn't it? You know, compared to this little skinny dude here, you know. So that's why I've got to be a little bit careful about this situation moving up here. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we kind of know that the markets are going to go higher. So in a way, they're going to come up here. They're going to react to all of this anyway, and they'll push up here a bit, and they'll come, you know, there'll be all this sort of stuff going on. So unfortunately, I haven't got you in on this here. So it just happened overnight, so it was a bit quick. So that's it. So we just really need this top to form at this point. But just to have a bit of a look inside this particular trend here to give you some idea to work with, we'll go to the 100 ticks here. So see, I could count this as 5 waves up here as 1, 2 here, and then 3 here, and 4 here, and 5 here. But this 5th wave is a little bit small. And then the A wave here, which is corrective here, the B wave, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So I've cleaned that up. So an A or wave 1, you know, we could do that, but it's rather big for a wave 2 here. That's my beef with this size of this correction here. So you know, but still. Anyway, so yeah, I was thinking that it looks a little bit like this to get up here. So even this move up here, if I just take this, we'll use these guys here as a part of the play as well. So that wave C could be wave 3. So if we get the wave 4 and wave 5, then that makes it a little bit more interesting. In terms of this moving up here, I think this is 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 at this point. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the strongest part of the trend here, 3. So in group, this is the other thing here too. There's 73 here, 100. This is group 1 and group 2 above and below it. So it's just starting to find its feet in this space here at the moment. So we're going to see it sort of do this type of thing here. You know, this is what it'll be like. So it's not going to be very pretty, unfortunately. I mean, I could be wrong and it could just continue to power up, but I think that it'll be like this. And if there's going to be a long trade, it's going to come from, you know, over this side of the fence here, in line with you know, this ABC pattern here, in line with Microsoft and Tesla and all of those sorts of other companies in that. I think that's the way it's going to be. And I think this is, you know, this is where you know, if this is the case here, this also means buying banks. And you know, iron ore's looking pretty good actually. You know, I mean, we've been tracking iron ore, so that's looking quite sort of positive. So the FMGs and the Rios and that will be starting to look good as well, and they will be positive in amongst all of this area through here. But it doesn't matter, you know, with Rio and FMG, if they've pushed up and they've got to push up further, they're going to come back, and this is where we'll look at them over this point. So, and that pushing up there is not something that we've missed. It's something that is helping us confirm that that we need to move in. You know, so it's don't see it as something we missed. See it as something positive, that it's confirming a future opportunity that we need to move in, and it gives you time to think of where you're going to put your money, because you don't want to be putting your money in 3 mining stocks or something like that. You want to kind of, you know, split them into different sectors a little bit as well. I mean, because you're going to be in 3 different mining stocks, you may as well put them all in one mining stock, you know. Okay, I'll leave it all at that. Sorry it's such a long video, but yeah, looking good. Alrighty, cheers.